There's a wide range of reasons I find myself coming back to the NES time and time again. Sure, it's a quick hit of childhood nostalgia, but that can be said about many things you find comfort in. Who doesn't have a favorite food you've come to love throughout your upbringing? Perhaps a favorite pastime you still enjoy to partake in? We do have holidays for a reason, am I right? So when it comes to chalking up retro gaming to simply a nostalgia trip, I find an excuse a bit played out. Maybe these games are just fun to play, you know? Easy to pop in from time to time when you got a few minutes to pack in. Sort of like packing back a few of those comfort foods we are quite fond of, teleporting you back to simpler times from the first bite. However, at the root of these so-called retro games is the actual root of the matter, lying somewhere buried within its rich library of titles spread across just about any genre you can think of. We all have our favorites, and ironically, mine just so happens to be platformers. And the NES is home to some of the most challenging platformers out there. Not simply because of the primitive hardware they were built from, it's that they've required tight control and the utmost precision to execute down the stretch. It's why I tend to marvel at those brilliant speedruns across the community, a true highlight to indulge in. I mean, people are still shattering records across the console from just about any classic that comes to mind. Although I appreciate the time and effort placed into these runs, I don't play them today to break records, nor for any sort of competitive clout. I do so merely for the love of the game. Simply put, if I was given one library to play to the end of time, I'd gladly choose this one, and I would play it till my fingers fell off, or until they find my withered corpse buried below ground. Man, what a terrible night for a curse that'd be. Well, consider me cursed, I guess, because if you've made it to episode, what is this, like 57? Then we've only just begun to ride my wave pool thoughts. Plus, this gives me an incentive to dust off a few carts I typically don't put in. This cart right here brings me back to a particular key moment when I came to the realization that this has got to be the very best superhero game released for the NES. Now, if that isn't subjective enough, for clarification, I'm simply chalking it up to grown men in a colorful assortment of tights that pop off the pages of your favorite comic strip. Not humanoids in blue overalls that will dance on command for a handful of bands. So I mean, the bar isn't exactly set high here to begin with. And without Sunman ever finding its way past the pre-production phase, you're essentially left with the Silver Surfers and the X-Men of the early LJN days. These aren't the worst things imaginable. I will say a guilty pleasure playthrough at best. Yet Sunsoft Batman just hits different. The dude was in a league of his own, backed by the machine itself. And although the jokesters that inhabit this universe appeared radically different than those we typically see lurking the back alleys of Gotham, the entirety of this package is damn near flawless, introducing unique gameplay elements that were fresh and new at the time. And although it's brutal from start to end, it's Sunsoft, so you knew they were coming out swinging. So with that said, it looks to be about that time as the call comes in, one in particular that requires us to bust some heads and do so in style with a personal favorite Batman of mine. No, not Michael Keaton. Close. Very close. I appreciate the contribution here, front and center on the big screen, but I'm talking about the other man on screen, the stone-faced killer behind the mask, the man built in Japan, the franchise himself, the one drenched in shades of purple nightmare fuel, known in this neck of the woods as the Sunsoft Bat. Now, first and foremost, we need to get the latest intel surfacing across Gotham as our story opens up to a festival of life celebrating 200 years of prosperity across the city. A city which unfortunately has seen better days. The current timeline of events, I will assume, takes place somewhere during the events of the '89 original motion picture, opening up to Jack Nicholson reprising his role as Jack Napier, whom has recently taken a nosedive into a vat of sticky green chemical waste, transforming him into his iconic Joker persona, whom looks to now further his own dastardly agenda by releasing a poisonous nerve gas across the city of Gotham. With his plans now rolling out quicker than the spread of toxic gas, a sliver of hope comes forth when Gotham needs it the most. One shrouded in mystery that took an oath to protect this city, a dark knight who seeks to satisfy his own craving for revenge, to slay the one whom took his parents from him many moons ago. And as this story would shortly come to be told, this dark knight would make his presence felt down in the heart of the city, delivering retribution to the many disciples of the Joker which lurk throughout the night. There was something quite refreshing about this game upon its initial release. Qualities in a title we often didn't see with any plain old NES game, especially the ones that require a little running and jumping. A title built with superior physics and mechanics, much like two all-time greats I got on my personal top tier list, delivering the tactile efficiency of a Bionic Commando with the fluidity and grace of a Ninja Gaiden. Blend this together with the creative outlet of a Sunsoft team, and you got the formula for a perfect 8-bit superhero title. However, before we suit up in that beautiful purple pixelated attire, we need to first get equipped for tonight's title fight. And let me just say here and now, Sunsoft's Batman is layered in all the best tech gadgets our guy Bruce is known for, and the way they're implemented into his moveset makes this the definitive way to do things 8-bit. 3 uniquely designed sub-weapons that are powered by bat pellets, or what I like to call Batcoin, which are spent like currency for additional ammunition. They come in quantities of 10 and are crucial to recover to maintain a steady flow of firepower across each act. Each sub-weapon requires a specific quantity of ammunition to be fired, so be sure to familiarize yourself with them early on in order to come up with a solid strategy, allocating your resources to those you feel are ideal to fulfill the task at hand. The spear gun grants you some standard pistol play for a direct line of fire. This is ideal for taking out enemies who take a heads-on approach, those typically stationed on ledges or charging back and forth in plain sight. For hard-to-reach enemies or those which move in unorthodox patterns, you might want to go with something like the Dirk, a 4-sided throwing star that splits into 3. They cover a substantial amount of surface area with a killer spread that will take out even the most fiendish foe looking to gain the upper hand. These are both fantastic choices for a handful of scenarios. However, when you're in a real dilemma, your trusty Batarang will be your additional set of eyes and ears. Those tiny serrated edges cut through the coldest of opponents plotting behind the scenes. The Batarang takes them out before they know what hit them. When you manage to interrogate the many accomplices of the Joker, you're often rewarded with some much needed recovery and bonus drops. You recover a single stock of health with each heart drop, and you can even rack up a high score with those sweet bonus blocks, keeping that classic arcade score-based action alive. So, while out on the town, beating the bricks off those Gotham City street thugs, be sure to jot down your high score so you can mail it off to your favorite gaming publication for a chance to land your name on the all-time leaderboards. Well then, now that we have a better understanding of those killer combat weapons, the only thing left to do is find the keys to our matte black Bugatti, looking for a late night rendezvous across the chilly streets of Gotham. Our story opens up hot on the heels of Joker's band of merry misfits, which leads us to the back alleys where the word of the Bat has quickly spread, striking fear in the hearts of those who now claim allegiance to the Joker. The dark and gritty undertones of this new package sets the stage for our new Gotham, giving this 8-bit rendition of the Dark Knight the spotlight he deserves, allowing the vibrant purple hues of his Batsuit to illuminate your surroundings, bringing this pixelated package together. As you begin to go full-blown vigilante, you get a good feel for those smooth moves, clinging to the cold hard street corners for those signature wall jumps, and gliding across the night sky in style with the Bat Jump. Hey, that's just what it says here in the manual. I'm just saying. The entire package is pretty sweet, like I'm witnessing a comic panel coming to life before my very eyes. The block has seen better days, and these suckers appear to be whiffing down more than a little laughing gas, and by the looks of the gear they're strapped up with, it ain't no laughing matter, so be ready to put the work in here from the very start. There's plenty of licensed titles across the NES that do a great job portraying the character's likeliness, but not many can capture the atmosphere the way Sunsoft did here with Batman. The design and layout of these alleyways bring a real feel to the world of Gotham. Tie that Sunsoft sound into the mix, and this playthrough feels like a great movie sequence through and through. Now, as far as this being an extension of the '89 movie, I don't remember this group of crazies getting casted for any roles. Movie tie-in or not, this is every bit Sunsoft at its finest, and with or without the big bad bat attached here, is still every bit top shelf. Dare I call this my NES Turtles 1 of the Sunsoft Batverse? I might catch some strays for that one, but my opinions are just my opinions, and I can't help but to see the parallels of a company simply making a solid platformer first, and then adding the license and all the extra goodies that come sprinkled in with it. It's these little extras that makes this my definitive Batman experience, and again, proves why gameplay will always triumph over all. Why is that? because placing a greater focus on gameplay will help guide you through the creative process. This not only establishes a standard focal point, but allows the experience to have a unique identity, giving your design choice a leg to stand on, with a cohesive presentation all its own, one that becomes a key selling point, as you now find yourself reaching to your utility belt for the proper sub-weapon to counter the various obstacles that come forth. There's a hefty assortment of hooligans roaming these streets, some subtle callbacks to the DC universe of old, as the Joker has now assembled his own rogues gallery of villains, filled with repeat offenders hoping to revitalize their careers. It's hard to make out all of them, so don't let the 8-bit aesthetic fool you, because Sunsoft excels in getting the very best out of far less. And as you close out Act 1 here, you're reaching to that bag of yours again, as you roll up on City Hall, dripping with confidence to assess the situation at large, allowing the serrated tip of your batarang to do the talking for you, clipping the wings of this so-called killer moth, one more time, sending his latest story arc to the bargain bin of your local comic shop. With the streets cleaned up momentarily, you get tipped off to the Joker's latest stint of illegal activities, so it's time to head into the Axis chemical factory, which in time has become overrun with this insane clown posse. It's here those sweet assist weapons will again come in handy, picking off the enemies mounted across the various levels of this radioactive waste plant. All jokes aside, you'll be praying this place holds together long enough to scale this leaky structure, which once facilitated this hazardous waste, now seeping from its foundations, dripping down atop you as you pivot across the various steel supports. This factory is one chemical disaster away from going up in smoke, covered in exposed wires that will turn this faculty into one killer obstacle course. To make matters worse, the walls are laced with a lethal coat of metallic decor to keep any good detective off one's scent. There's an aroma of bloodshed and chloroform that will fill the chambers, and the only way to bring this factory up to code is to wipe it clean of the Joker's filth, reconstructing this funhouse from inside out, dissecting the safeguard system that keeps the lights on inside this dilapidated building, powered by 3 primary energy sources that must be taken out to bring those infernal gears to a halt. So be sure to poke your head out from time to time to send this puppy offline. With the factory now quarantined, you'll soon come to realize you've been playing checkers while the Joker's been playing chess, quickly sending you below ground out of sheer amusement. Regardless the circumstances, stay on your toes as they can easily go missing in this underground system of interconnected conduits, a network of sewer systems below ground. Just be aware, some of the more challenging enemies reside in these depths, and it's here that the difficulty ramps up, simply becoming overwhelmed by the various feats you need to endure. The creatures that stir in the murkiest waters below are genetically modified. They're known as jaders that thrive in the raw sewage, designed by the lab rats whom are employed by the Joker. Their size and speed make them Gotham's apex predator, ones that pile it on till there's nothing left. It's far easier to clear them out from afar the moment they pop in the frame to keep them from locking eyes with you. Remember, you're trying to fight through the constant flow of Joker's goons, while the runoff is muddied with deadly devices poking out of every corner, methodically placed in areas you typically use to catch a breather. Continue to climb your way out of this vile mosh pit till you reach higher grounds, high above this shithole, only to be met with, well, more shit, as it appears you have interrupted some recent renovations tasked by a massive fleet of mechanical monsters tearing up more than the land surrounding them. Once locked in on you, they proceed to fire at full clip, so if you can manage to climb your way out of this excavation site, you'll have some breathing room to farm for some additional health and ammunition packs that I strongly recommend doing from time to time. I mean, we know by now things aren't getting any easier from here, as you find that these caverns house an underground station powered by one of the Joker's prime suspects. Ah yes, the Electrocutioner, another D-lister that has aligned himself with the Joker, whom will light up this cavern with his dicey 10 megagigavolt beam that surges from his deadly appendages. With nothing to gain yet everything to prove, he sends electrical shockwaves straight towards old Batsy to fry him like the very circuitry of the station. As he jets back and forth looking for an opening, you need to use the platforms of the room to navigate past each blast. It's easier said than done, and if you want to go balls to the wall, just slug it out with him. But remember, the appropriate inventory can make or break any boss encounter. It's sort of like playing Mega Man and having all 8 Robot Masters special weapons from the start. It's essentially up to you to find the one best suited for overcoming the odds, and in this situation, sending the cluster of unstable electrons flowing back through reality. The caverns will put you on a direct path to the ruins of the old laboratory where those jitters we discovered earlier were created, now doubling as the primary headquarters for the Joker himself. And boy does he look a little overly green as of late. Perhaps he's been getting high off his own supply. Stick to the strategies here that have aided you thus far, using your entire toolset to uncover the clues to this madman's riddle. The Joker continues to play more mind games the closer you get to cracking this case, now making a quick cameo center stage on the latest broadcast. You need to be a well-oiled machine this late in the game, mastering the trajectory of your wall jumps if you wish to see things through here to the bitter end. The upper sector is a stretch, requiring pivotal placement, precision, and pacing to survive the Joker's latest stunt, as the upper platforms are riddled with surveillance bots, scouting the grounds from top to bottom. In order to cease operations, you will be required to lock things down by quickly deactivating this dual container alarm system, and you do so with brute force, punching the ever-loving shit out of them till they're rendered out of service. With the lab reclaimed, it's time to take to the Cathedral, the final destination where the Joker awaits, a tower of terror that must be scaled to lay those demons which haunt your past to rest. A gauntlet of gruesome challenges similar to a certain clock tower I've familiarized myself with over the years. If you need that verbiage translated, it's essentially the clock tower from Castlevania, requiring you to put on an exhibition of feats, showcasing your mastery of your toolset and how well you've adopted them into your skill set. You now look to lead an all-out assault on the Joker's stronghold, filled with his many subordinates placed in some choice spots that hinder even the most skilled player, and as you climb higher and higher, the landscape becomes more abstract, forcing you to get creative with your every approach to clear the many exposed gears that will end you prematurely. As you reach the very top of the summit, be sure to farm a bit for some much needed reserves, because you soon enough become introduced to the Joker's right-hand man whom has sworn a dying allegiance. He appears to have his own redemption arc playing out in his head, quickly lunging towards you with guns blazing, looking to go scorched earth. He quickly distances himself to channel a fiery blast that now hurls towards you. He's hot and handy and oh so spammy, so fall back long enough to get a grip on the simpleton's maneuvers, and it will soon be apparent the dude was not qualified for the job at hand, leaving just you and the devil at arm's length for a deadly duet under the pale moonlight. Unfortunately, the joke's on us here, as this madman draws forth, locked and loaded with his rifle, to send a few quick rounds into the chest of the bat, while sporting that shit-eating grin of his, now smeared across his face. A performance for the ages as the Joker races across the room, reaching down deep into his bag to send a series of thunderbolts down into the chamber, shocking our caped crusader to the core as he proceeds to cycle through this rapid-fire offense. This back and forth sequence may look simple enough at first glance, but the margin for error makes it far more punishing in the moment, especially if you get picked off by the Joker's rifle. Take a few hits from this, and you'll be looking for a different line of work. However, as decorated as this arsenal is, with enough practice, it becomes merely a stage performance, giving this performer a reality check each time he goes for an encore. If you focus on your footing, you can find a sweet spot between the hailstorms to slug it out, rearranging his face till he flees to the other side of the chamber. Continue to beat the paint right off his face, and in a matter of moments, you have him pleading his case. As Batman stands over his rival's bruised and battered remains, he proceeds to lift him to his feet one more time, staring back at the man who robbed him of his very existence, reminiscing on his darkest days. Filled with vengeance, memories flood back as the pain behind the mask becomes far too much to bear, proceeding to do the unthinkable, hurling the Joker off the side of the tower, plummeting below without mercy as his body strikes the cold hard concrete. As he stares up at the night sky, he takes one last breath in this final moment, for there would be no encore for this performance. It's kill or be killed in the world of Gotham City, as we close out this final chapter with some much needed closure. Sunsoft's Batman easily sits atop my list of all-time platformers that would grace the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System, a title that delivered on its promise to Batman fans, giving us a true taste of what an exceptional superhero-themed title could look and feel like. It's something fans of the original film were clamoring for, while in the same breath was a testament to Sunsoft's design philosophies, building the experience around the sheer depth of gameplay and refining the platforming approach while capturing an aesthetic presentation that breathed new life into the console. It's simple storytelling, sticking to the cliff notes, focusing on exceptional cutscenes and dialogue, while narrating the events through creative design choices and a decorative layout of stage acts that depicted these iconic scenes through a different lens. The experience is immersive the whole way through, capping things off with an arrangement of original Sunsoft sounds that are nearly unmatched. It's dark and gritty at its core and captures everything I loved about growing up with the NES. This will always be my personal preference when it comes to the 8-bit experience, and although there's those amazing Arkham games we are lucky to have today, this is still my favorite Batman game of all time. Besides, I gotta go with a purple phenom that would terrorize the NES for a generation, and when it comes to the Joker, I'll say this. This right here is much more than a simple movie tie-in game. It's a self-contained story that exists inside this very Sunsoft Batverse. And with that said, I bid you all good night, and remember, the streets of Gotham never sleep, because with every good hero lies an even better villain.